Building trust, it's something that's essential for every relationship. And it's also one of the hardest things to achieve. You may have found yourself in situations where trust was broken, where you had to rebuild it from scratch, and that's not easy. But what if there was a way to build trust from the start, without the setbacks and disappointments? What if there was a blueprint you could follow to ensure that trust not only exists, but it thrives? It starts with understanding how trust works, and from a Sigma's perspective, it's about creating a strong foundation from day one. As you know, Sigmas don't just give trust away to anyone. They don't jump into relationships without assessing who is worthy of their trust. It's not about being closed off or distant. It's about being intentional with who they allow into their circle. They know that trust takes time. It's something that has to be built, brick by brick, and they understand that once trust is broken, it's difficult, if not impossible, to repair. So they take their time, they observe, and they listen. They don't rush into anything, and that's a key factor in building trust. What's important here is the Sigma's ability to be present, not just physically but emotionally. They don't just show up, they engage, they truly listen to what others are saying, and more importantly, they listen to what's not being said. You know how sometimes the most powerful conversations happen in silence, when people are showing emotions but not saying a word. That's where the Sigma thrives. They pick up on the unspoken, the subtle cues that most people overlook, and that's what gives them an edge when it comes to trust. They understand people on a deeper level, which is why they can make informed decisions about who to trust and who to keep at a distance. Another crucial element of building trust is consistency. It's one thing to show up once in a while, but it's another to show up every single time. Sigmas understand that people don't trust those who are unpredictable. Trust is built on reliability. It's about showing up when you say you will, keeping your word, and following through on your promises. You know how it feels when someone lets you down. When they say they're going to do something and don't. That erodes trust faster than almost anything else. But when you show up consistently, when you follow through, that's when trust starts to solidify. And the Sigma understands this better than most, which is why they make it a priority to be reliable in all of their relationships. Trust is also about respect, and that's something the Sigma understands deeply. They respect others' time, emotions, and boundaries. They know that for trust to grow, there has to be mutual respect. They don't push people beyond their limits. They don't demand too much too soon. They allow relationships to unfold naturally, and in doing so, they create an environment where trust can flourish. They make others feel safe, knowing that their boundaries will be respected, and that's crucial for building any kind of lasting relationship. Whether it's a friendship, a romantic relationship, or a business partnership, respect is the cornerstone of trust, and the Sigma embodies that respect in every interaction. Another important factor is vulnerability. Now, you might think vulnerability is a weakness, but for the Sigma, it's actually a sign of strength. The Sigma doesn't wear their heart on their sleeve, but they do know when to let their guard down, and that's when they can form the deepest connections. Vulnerability doesn't mean sharing every detail of your life with someone, but it does mean being real, being open, and showing a side of yourself that's not always seen. It's about being transparent without giving away everything, but showing that you trust the other person enough to be real with them, and that's when the bond strengthens. When you're vulnerable, you allow others to be vulnerable too, and that's how true trust is born. You're probably wondering, how do I apply this to my own life? Well, it starts with understanding that trust isn't just something that happens, it's something you actively build. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent, authentic, and intentional. When you show up as your true self, when you follow through on your promises, and when you respect others, that's when trust begins to form, and over time, that trust will deepen. It's a process, not a quick fix, but if you stay true to these principles, you'll find yourself surrounded by relationships built on solid, unbreakable trust. Trust also involves patience, and the Sigma knows this well. They understand that not everyone will earn their trust right away, and they don't expect it to happen overnight. Building trust takes time, and the Sigma is willing to invest that time. They know that some relationships require more time and attention, while others might not be worth the effort. But they don't rush, they don't force trust. They allow it to grow naturally, and that's what sets them apart from others. They don't chase after relationships, they let them develop in their own time, and that's how they build trust with authenticity. Ultimately, building trust is about being real, being reliable, being respectful, and knowing when to be vulnerable. But it's also about trusting yourself, trusting your instincts, and recognizing when someone deserves your trust. It's about being aware of the energy you're giving and receiving. It's about creating connections that are built on respect and mutual understanding. And it's about knowing that trust is earned, not given. When you begin to embody these qualities, you'll find that trust flows naturally into your relationships, and those connections will become stronger over time. So, now that you have a glimpse into the Sigma's approach to trust, it's time to reflect on your own life. How are you building trust with those around you? Are you showing up consistently? Are you respecting boundaries? Are you being vulnerable when it counts? Take a moment to think about these things and consider how you can apply them to your own relationships. If you do, you'll find that trust doesn't have to be difficult to build. It can come naturally, and when it does, it's unbreakable. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, because you will learn tons of information in the next video.